and welcome to my weekly vibrational astrology forecast video. This is for the week ahead of Monday, February 24th through Sunday, March 1st, 2020. If you don't already know me, my name is Starlene Breiter. I am a vibrational astrologer. I'm also an intuitive tarot reader and a Reiki healer. And soon, well, actually, I already am an astrology teacher. And also, this coming autumn in September, I am going to be starting my astrology classes. It is from the Sirius Astrology School .com website. That is my website for teaching astrology. I will be teaching vibrational astrology. It's an apprenticeship program that you might be interested in learning. It is for people that want to become professional astrologers. You can also take like the beginning part of it if you want to just learn a little bit about vibrational astrology, how to delineate like the chart using vibrational astrology. But I really am gearing this at people that want to become professionals. That's my goal in it anyway. I will be giving more information in a separate video about SiriusAstrologySchool.com, and I will be sharing that very soon. I also want to announce that on Thursday, this Thursday, the 27th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Fiona Stoltz and I will be doing another video together where we share our thoughts, and I pull a tarot card and she pulls one of her cards from her Sea of Calm deck. We did this a couple weeks ago. It was really fun. It's a live video that goes on YouTube at the same time as it goes on Facebook. So you can watch it on either platform or you can watch it later as well. We share cards, and we just thought it would be a fun way to do that and a fun thing to do. So feel free to tune in at 4 p.m. if you can, or you can always watch it later, of course. We also talk about not just like doing little mini readings or whatever. We also talk about some positive things and some things that are going on with us and how we're evolving ourselves and how we're helping other people evolve as well. So it's an interesting kind of little new thing that we started doing. So feel free to come and check us out. I also wanted to announce that the Vibrational Astrology Conference is coming up really soon. It's only a few weeks away. I'm so excited. It is in Gainesville, Florida. It is at March 27th through 29th in Gainesville, and it is the cutting edge of vibrational astrology. What happens is the researchers that are going to be doing lectures have an entire year to work on their research and their presentations, and then at the conference they do their presentations. They share their presentations. This conference, David Cochran himself is going to be doing a pre-conference the day before on just basics of vibrational astrology. So it might be advantageous for you to go to the pre-conference if you don't know much about vibrational astrology, if you're going to plan on going to the conference. The conference is awesome. I went last year. I did 2 lectures last year. This year I'm not lecturing, but I am giving mini readings between the lectures, so feel free to come up to me if you go and let me know you want a mini reading. I'm excited about it because there's so many new topics that are going on, and I know how hard it is that these researchers have been working because I did it last year, and I know that it's exciting new cutting edge research, in astrology. And it's not just research, like through cherry picking or deciding this chart looks good and it makes sense, and this chart looks good and it makes sense. It's actual research using, methods that scientists use, not cherry picking or anything like that. It's really kind of cool. So I'm excited. It's not kind of cool. It is really cool. So I'm excited to hear about it. I know one of the lectures is on the nodes, which I'm super excited about. Clarissa Dolphin is going to be doing that lecture, I believe. And I'm super excited because, up until now, using vibrational astrology, using that theoretical framework, I don't technically use the nodes a whole lot because we haven't completely pinned down what the nodes mean and how they interact. But through this lecture that Clarissa will be giving, we will know more of that. So I will be incorporating the nodes more into my work. So I'm excited about that as a vibrational astrologer. And because I know she's done the work and I know she's, done the research as far as, evidence-based approach. So anyway, enough of that. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope that you guys get to attend. It's an exciting weekend to have coming up for us. So the first thing I'm going to jump into with this week is the midpoints that are going on. And the midpoint that is going on from last week is the sun at Mars Uranus. The sun at the midpoint of Mars and Uranus. And this started on the 22nd and goes to the 24th, which is last Saturday to Monday. And this is the ability to adjust to new circumstances and conditions. This is telling us that we should be present in the moment, and it can help us from keeping some accidents that happen. Sometimes, like when we get Mars and Uranus together, that can be accident prone because Mars wants to go, 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 and Uranus wants to be in the present. And we're not always, if we're not thinking and we're being in the present moment, we can, like goof up and have a little bit of an accident. So be in the present moment. That's the important part of it. I know this is already passed because I'm doing this video on Tuesday, but I did want to just mention it because it was a midpoint that happened last week that ended this week. So the new midpoints that are going on this week, and by the way, we have a lot of Mercury Venus going on this week. I think almost every one of the midpoints has Mercury or Venus in it, mostly Mercury. But we have a lot of Mercury going on. Mercury, is retrograde right now. So a lot of this stuff is going to be like more internalized, more stuff we think about as opposed to what we speak about. Because Mercury is in our mind, it pieces things together, right? It pieces things together sometimes verbally and just says it, or it pieces things together in the mind. So we might notice that we have a lot of internal dialogue going on this week. Mercury, the first midpoint is Mercury at the midpoint of Venus and Saturn. And this is on Monday and Tuesday. And this is really thinking about real love. What is real love to you? What are you really attracted to? And it's wanting to communicate that in some way or piece things together in a meaningful way in regards to love or in regards to what you're attracted to. So in some sense, if you're not feeling like you're happy or content with yourself in a sense of your emotions, if you're not happy with what you love, if you're not content with it, feels very superficial, you might have a hard time with this. If it doesn't feel superficial, then I think it'll deepen it, because Saturn is all about not being superficial. It's all about letting things go that aren't going to last, right? So if you're attracted to things that are important to you or meaningful to you, I think that can have a chance, you can have a chance to deepen it, especially on an internal mental state. But if you're attracted to things that are superficial or, not so meaningful, you might also be feeling like, oh, well, it doesn't really make so much sense for me. It's kind of like, I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to move forward. You might have those kinds of thoughts enter into your mind. So that is the 24th and the 25th. That's Monday and Tuesday. The next midpoint to talk about is Mercury at the midpoint of Venus and Pluto. And this is on Tuesday only. And this happened a couple weeks ago, January 28th and 29th. And it happens a couple weeks ago when Mercury was direct. And now Mercury is retrograde, so it's happening again. And this is expression of some kind of artistic talent or solving some kind of love problems. Remember, Mercury is our mind. Venus is the things that we're attracted to, the beauty that we're attracted to. And Pluto is that energy of that drive, that compulsion, that really strong drive. So in some sense, in some mental sense, we might be thinking in our mind, hey, I'm not happy with this relationship, or I am happy with this relationship. I want to kind of express it. I am happy with this painting I've been making, or I'm not, but I want to figure out how to express it in a way that is healthy or that is good and is beautiful. So you might be thinking about those kinds of things. You might not take action on it in this moment, but you might be like thinking about it because remember, Mercury is retrograde right now. So, this is all definitely about things that we care about and expression of that. The next midpoint to talk about is the sun at the midpoint of Venus and Pluto. Now, this is on Tuesday through Saturday, and the peak of it is on Thursday. And this is creativity in a very deep or unusual form. So think about it. The sun is illuminating, the sun's in the middle, and Pluto and Venus are on each side of the sun. And what's happening is that our creativity is being illuminated by the sun. Our creativity is being illuminated by the sun, and we're giving a chance to really express that in some really beautiful way. So think about yourself. What is it in your life that you're creative with? If you're not, maybe you should pick up something that's creative. If you are, maybe you'll get really deeply immersed in it, and it might come out in an unusual way, but it's very beautiful at the same time. I think these kinds of midpoints help us to like dig into our soul work. For instance, I make jewelry, right? So it might be like, here I am and I'm making jewelry and always doing the same kind, but all of a sudden I get an inspiration to do something completely different when I'm like, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but people end up loving it. It's that kind of situation. Allow your creativity to flow this week. This is Wednesday through, wait, hold on a second. This is Tuesday through Saturday. So this is almost the whole week. This is an energy that is very, strong this whole week, with the peak of it being on Thursday. So allow your creativity to go to places that it hasn't gone before. Allow yourself to think about how can I, and if you're not creative in the sense of like, I'm, an artist of some sort, how can you do this in a sense of like your creativity for yourself, your own personal creativity of your life, because life is kind of art in a sense, to me at least. The way we dress, the way we carry ourselves, the way we talk, the way we share ourselves, that sort of thing. I think life in itself is art, so think about how do you express yourself in a creative way. And maybe you want to change something about yourself. Maybe you want to go get a haircut, or maybe you want to go get a different outfit that is unusual that you wouldn't normally wear, something like that. It depends on you and your lifestyle and where you're at in life, how this will play out. But this is a good time to definitely tap into that creative side and not be afraid to be a little bit bolder than maybe you normally are. So, okay, the next midpoint to talk about is Mercury at Venus, Jupiter, and this is Wednesday and Thursday. The peak of it is on Thursday. And this is really a nice sense of humor. It's a very nice energy. It's happy thoughts. It's thinking about future happy thoughts too. Mercury's in the middle. Venus and Jupiter are on each side of Mercury. Mercury is like our mind, of course. So this is internalized because Mercury is retrograde, but it's like got our planet of the love and attraction to beauty, along with the jovial planet of Jupiter that makes things big. So it's like a sense of like, hey, happiness, boldness, fun. This is a good time to socialize with friends. It's a good time to go out and do something fun with yourself. It's a good time to think about what can I do in the future that would be fun. These kinds of things are, pretty important for us to think about during this time. And, you may not really intend to, but it might just happen organically, where someone invites you out for dinner or something, and you go out and you just have fun, just with friends or whatever. This is that kind of energy. That is Wednesday and Thursday. So moving on to the next midpoint, it is Mercury at the midpoint of Mars and Uranus. And this is also Wednesday and Thursday, with the peak on Thursday as well. And this is the inclination to draw really heavily on your nervous energy. So if you're a nervous kind of person already, you might be able to draw from that, and you might be able to create very strong power with that. And this will help you to, feel as if you are emotionally, mentally, maybe not so much emotionally, but more like mentally, because it is Mercury, being able to say, okay, this is where I want to focus myself. If there's been some things you wanted to focus yourself on lately, this is a great time to use this energy. This is Wednesday and Thursday, along with the Mercury, Venus, Jupiter that I just talked about, having a sense of humor and feeling happy. This is a time to draw on that intense energy that you might have or you might be feeling, and put it on something important that you want to achieve in this moment. And remember, it's in this moment because it is Uranus. Uranus wants us to be in the present moment. Remember, so that makes sense. So these two energies with Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury, Mars, Uranus on the 26th and the 27th are kind of giving us a chance to really shine a light on the things that we want to create with ourselves, but be very happy in the time of doing it. Okay, so the next midpoint to talk about is Mercury at the midpoint of Venus and Mars. This is Saturday and Sunday, and the peak is on Sunday. This is thinking about things and impulses of love and contemplation of like getting deeper love. So Venus and Mars are, Venus being the energy of what we're attracted to, the beauty that we're attracted to, Mars being our energy, and Mercury is our thoughts. So you may notice some internal thoughts about love. You know, if you're in a relationship, you may think about deepening it. If you're not in a relationship, you might be thinking about how can I get in a relationship. You know, either way, it's kind of like that's what's flowing for you. So the next midpoint to talk about is Sun at the midpoint of Mercury and Neptune. And this is only on February 29th. And this is sensitivity and receptivity, and a really rich imagination. So the sun is between Mercury, Mercury and Neptune. Mercury being our mind, Neptune being like our highest ideals. So you might be noticing yourself like being intellectually creative. Your mind might be going into different places where it hasn't ventured before. You might be thinking about different things. So this is an energy of, you know, being sensitive, but being more internally sensitive. So the midpoints that begin this week and peak next week. The first one is Pluto at the midpoint of Jupiter and Saturn. And this starts on Tuesday and it goes to 2 Fridays from now. So the peak of it is on next Wednesday. This is a demonstration of really, really strong effort. Not being afraid of having troubles or difficulty in working. You will attain your desires, but it may be slow to attain them. So, you know, Pluto gives us that power, gives us that energy. Jupiter gives us that strength and that bigness, right? And Saturn gives us that, you know, tenacity to say, hey, I'm going to let go of what's not important, and I'm going to allow myself to bring what's important to the table. So you know, Pluto and Saturn can somewhat be ascetic. So where you're not, it doesn't feel good. But mixing Jupiter in there gives us a chance to like look beyond what it is. And we can really move mountains if we put our focus on the things we want to, as opposed to going, oh, things aren't good in my life and things are negative, and being pessimistic. So be mindful of your thoughts during this time and say to yourself, okay, I want to make this happen. How do I make that happen? And then just keep plugging away with it until you make it actually happen. The next midpoint that starts this week and ends next week is Jupiter at the midpoint of Mars and Saturn. This starts on Saturday to next Sunday, and the peak of it is next Wednesday. This gives us a lot of concentration and energy on a particular object. So you might forget about so much that you might forget about some other interests that you have. So Jupiter's in the center, making this very amplified. Mars and Saturn are like, you know, this ability to put our energy on something that's really important to us. And you might like forget about everything else around you. So you have a lot of concentration power here, which is nice, connected with the midpoint I just talked about with Jupiter at Saturn, Pluto. So we might feel like we're ready to completely release something that we need to let go of in our lives, that we feel like maybe we've held on to for so long too. So if there's someone, something, you know, whatever that we have been holding on to for a long time, but we need to let go of, this might also be a time for us to let go of that. The next midpoint and the last midpoint to talk about this week is the Sun at the midpoint of Venus Saturn. This starts on Sunday, March 1st, and goes to March 3rd, which is Thursday. March 5th, which is Thursday next week. Its peak is on March 3rd, which is Tuesday. This is really us seeking real love, seeking something really important, really meaningful, and something we're really attracted to. You know, the sun is in between Venus and Saturn. Venus being about our love and what we're attracted to, and Saturn being about what's real and important. This is a chance for us to seek real beauty and love in our lives. If you don't have love in your life right now, you might be inclined to look for something that is real and meaningful to you. If you do have love, but it's superficial, it might be like you're thinking about, do I let this go? And do I move forward from this? Because I want something real and beautiful in my life, as opposed to something that might not be so in your life. So that is a contemplation we might be having during that time. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the 2 planet aspects and ingresses. Actually, we don't have any ingresses of planets this week. except for the moon, of course. The two planet aspects, the first one is Sun in Pisces sextile Mars in Capricorn at 9:06 p.m. on the 24th. And that is nervous energy or a need for self-control. So remind yourself if you're feeling nervous or excited or something like that, then this happens late on the 24th. So also be feeling it on the 25th. If you're feeling nervous or like a little out of control because, the Sun and Mars kind of give us that energy, then try to reel it back in and focus yourself on what really is important to you. The next aspect that is going on Tuesday, February 25th is the Sun in Pisces conjunct Mercury in Pisces. Now, this is the inferior conjunction to Sun and Mercury, which means it's the halfway point of the Mercury retrograde phase. So we're halfway through Mercury retrograde on Tuesday. Yay. And this means we need to pay attention to detail. So pay attention to detail, put the little things together, the little pieces together. That's important. Pay attention to detail. That's important. Think about things, but maybe not like externally. Think about them maybe internally because Mercury is retrograde. Wednesday, the 26th, Mercury in Pisces makes a sextile to Mars in Capricorn, and this happens at 12:59 a.m. This is a good sense of humor. This is the ability to think and express very quickly. Mercury is, our mind, and Mars is, our energy, and this harmonious sextile is like, this is good wit. We might be able to like have be kind of witty on this day. It does happen at 12:59 a.m. Eastern time, so it might be like the middle of the night. So we'll be feeling this a little bit on Thursday morning or like later Wednesday evening too. So on Thursday, the 27th, there are no exact aspects. And then on Friday, the 28th, Venus in Aries makes a square to Pluto in Capricorn. This happens at 5:08 p.m. This is becoming very, very involved and even compulsive towards the things that we love. This could be a person, this could be an object, this could be like a situation, like something that you do with yourself, but it's very something that we love, that's something that we're attracted to, something that we think is beautiful. So we're going to have this very strong compulsion towards it. Just don't go overboard with it. Just don't go overboard with if it's a person, or something like that. Allow yourself to get immersed in something because that's what Pluto wants us to do, but don't go overboard. Keep yourself in check with that kind of energy. And then the 29th, February 29th, happy leap day. There are no aspects going on. Sunday, March 1st, there are also no exact aspects going on. So I would like to also talk about the gemstone suggestion that I have for the week. The gemstone suggestion I have is pyrite. Pyrite, here is a beautiful heart of pyrite. It is also known as fool's gold. It is wonderful and protective. It helps and acts as a shield from whoever wears it or holds it from negative energy. It helps to manifest. It also helps to manifest abundance and wealth, and it also encourages one to follow their dreams. So this is a great stone I thought would be wonderful to work with this week, especially with all the Venus and Mercury energy going on. And that wraps up my video for the week. I want to invite you back to come next week. And I will hopefully get it out on Monday. And I will be talking about Mercury retrograde back into Aquarius. I will be talking about Venus ingress into Taurus, Venus and Aries square Saturn, and in Taurus, and lots of other stuff next week. We have a lot of stuff going on next week. I'm excited about it. And I thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. And of course, come to the live video that Fiona and I will be doing on the 27th, Thursday the 27th at 4 p.m. if you can. Namaste, everyone. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.